I'm Laura Donnelly, founder of the Healing Path Conversation Series and Dancing with Ease Body-Brain Balance. People hire me to teach them to move out of pain and into healing. These conversations with friends and colleagues offer many perspectives on healing. And the one thing that we have in common is the belief that healing begins with self-healing and expands outward into the world. Whether you use traditional medicine, alternative medicine, or even something that you know intuitively inside yourself is going to be healing for you, that comes to you from your choice to move on to a path of healing. And today I'm super, super, super excited to talk with my friend, Tracey-Jane Hughes. And I'll bring her on now, and she will share with you a little bit about her listening history. And we'll get into how we met and how our work flows together. And we have a special something for you at the end. Hey.
We do. Hi, Laura. Hi. And just on that, how people find their own healing path. For me, that's all about listening. And for me personally, it was the listening to myself that helped me to heal in so many ways. And I didn't know that something so simple as listening would be sort of how I needed to take my next steps forward.
It is like that, isn't it? I mean, but when I think about how we met and the growth of our relationship, that's been like you listening to me listening to you, us listening to ourselves individually, going forward, coming back. And so that's one way that listening really can foster relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a relationship with self and relationship with others, because like you said, in terms of healing, if we aren't what I call at ease in ourselves, we can't be at ease with other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I said once to somebody that I was very close to, is if I don't know what I want unless you tell me what I told you I wanted was okay, then I don't know what I want. If I need your approval,
yes.
if I need your approval, I don't know what I want.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so part of that too, because when you're growing up, you listen to all kinds of people. You listen to teachers, you listen to parents, you listen to grandparents, you listen to your friends, and in a way, you're putting together your concepts of the world. But I read something the other. I'm reading a lot of stuff, and the pieces come, and so then I'm just like, okay, well, I read this and I heard it, and it resided in me, and so now I'm listening to it, which is that we're first born knowing how to listen to ourselves.
Yeah.
Then we get distracted by the world, by other people's ideas of what we should do. My son is going to be a doctor, whatever. And we get up in our heads, I think. And although sometimes when I listen, I don't know how, when you listen, if you hear words, sometimes I hear words. I might see pictures. I might just have a sensation in my body when I thought what I would tell you is a resonant truth, something that rings.
Yeah.
It has the ring of truth. I love that statement.
The ring of truth, and I think those of us that have a way to connect with that ease in ourselves, which is why the listening and ease flows really closely together. And, you know, I've learned so much from you, you know, over the time that we've known each other. And, you know, I think vice versa. I think, you know, we've flowed together in learning about listening and ease, which is why it's so important that we listen with ease, you know. But I think that, yes, I sometimes do hear words, but I also feel it in my body. You know, you've taught me, Laura, to notice if there's something that's uncomfortable in my body, to listen to that and notice that and go, actually, that's not okay. So for me, listening comes on many levels. It's not just about what we hear in our ears. It's not just about what we read. You said, you know, you've been reading things and then it's been processing through you. So you've read something, you've taken it in, and then you're feeling it. So, you know, you're connecting with it on multi levels. With relationships, we might listen to words, but we might also watch and observe somebody's reactions. So everybody that says I'm fine and actually looks not fine, if we're truly listening, we'll listen to what we observe, not just the words. I mean, communication, it's only a third words, isn't it? Everything else is the tone, is the body language. And if we're not listening to everything, we're not listening to anything really, because we're not connecting that. I think I know somebody with, you know, something similar to that. You know, ease anywhere is ease everywhere. And I think if we're not listening to, you know, to everything, we're not listening to anything. So, you know, that's sort of how I've learned and experienced and observed and grown my own listening practice. It's probably only been about 8 years since a friend asked me to become a listening trainer. That's literally how it started. You know, a friend asked me to become a listening trainer because they were wanting to set up, it was a church organization, they were wanting to set up a listening service because there was lots of people in their community that were lonely, that lived alone, that didn't have anybody to speak to listen to share with. And this community of people wanted to share their gift of community with, you know, with the wider community. And they felt that, you know, setting up a listening service would be an opportunity. But for us in the UK, you know, I live in the northwest of England, and all the trainers were down south. The organisation that was offering this training was down south. And so, you know, my friend thought, well, actually, we could train to be listening trainers and then offer this facility to people in the northwest. And that's what we did. But actually, as often happens, when we're guided on a new path, that journey of learning how to listen and teach other people to listen opened me up to listen to things for myself that I needed to hear. So that for me is the power of listening. It's not only when we learn to listen more, or we learn to listen more deeply, more widely, we learn to listen with all of our senses, we open ourselves up to hear what our body, our, you know, the universe, whatever, you know, that there's different threads. And I think for me, Laura, this is where there's so many different threads. There's so many different, you know, we are all interconnected. but our bodies are made up of so many cells that one thing will spark something else. It's this spider's web. And I remember, when you first started the healing path, and you talked about the wheel, and you had an aha moment about having the wheel and the spokes, and it's that, for me, it's that interconnectedness. But if we're not listening to one part of ourselves, whether it's an experience, whether it's a memory, whether it's a situation, whether it's a bodily feeling, if we're not listening to that, we're blocking something for ourselves.
Well, one of the things that you said that I love is, and this is a lot of times how things happen. We care for somebody who is going through something, and we want information to share with them to help them. And so we go about finding the information we think that this person we care about needs. And then it turns out that we needed that also. And
absolutely.
And the kind of the things that resonate is if I'm this is a good way, like if you're talking, I'm trying to hear you, right? I have extra tension because I don't want to miss anything that you're saying. It's I got it. I have to get it. But if I come back to myself and I calm down, then your words can come in. Whereas when I'm trying to get them, they kind of bounce off of me, or every other word bounces off of me. And in the ease work that I teach, a lot of it is the delivery. And but not changing the delivery, not staging it like an announcer's voice or something, but to listen to myself. Am I talking too fast? Did the pitch of my voice go up because I was excited, not for any bad reason? Then I just say, oh, wow, I'm excited. Cool.
Yeah.
Let me share this good stuff. And let me share the excitement authentically, not with the zipped up roller coaster energy. But if we're listening to somebody who is in that zipped up space and their thoughts are spinning and they can hardly get out a coherent sentence, how does your listening to you and your listening to them help that kind of just calm down that situation?
That's quite huge, Laura. That's probably a whole course. That's what I've been learning for the last 8 years, Laura.
Well, no, just like
I know. But as you were talking and I was listening, it was just like, well, that and 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 that. And it was just like, oh, isn't that interesting? Because it is the whole experience. And I think what we can learn quite simply is just to start listening more.
First step.
So just one simple step of just notice when you're going on a walk, maybe don't take your phone with you, don't have earphones in, just listen and just allow yourself to enjoy the walk. One of the things that that sort of brought it home to me as I was on the first stages of my listening course was I came home. I had two. I suppose my boys were sort of 10 and 12-ish, that sort of age, and we've had a very busy family life. They're both into lots of sports, so it was at the time in our lives when there was lots of after school activities, and I was working from home. I had my own businesses, and my husband worked in an office, and we chose to always pick our children up after school. So, we took them to school. We were there for them after school. So my work day was often school hours, early morning, and then evenings. So I had time with the boys in between. And I'll always remember a time when I was stood cooking tea, because tea nutrition was always really important to get in at the right time before their activities, to give them the energy, but also, make sure that all of that stuff. And I remember cooking tea, or trying to cook tea, with one of them come home from school really, really excited, wanting to tell me something. And I realized that I wasn't listening. So for me, that was the point when I knew that, yes, I can multitask, I can do lots of things, but actually, if I'm focusing on getting this sauce ready for the spaghetti, and my little one is trying to talk to me, what am I listening to? So even just noticing in your daily life, if somebody is trying to communicate with you, are you listening to them at that moment in time, or are you being distracted by something else? One of the conversations I have quite a lot with my young people, who are now 20 and 18, is they're on lots of different devices at the same time. So for me, what are they listening to? Where is their attention? Is it on the thing that's on the television that maybe the family are watching in theory all together, or are they on, their laptop watching a sporting event that they're interested in, or are they on their phone communicating with friends? What is it that they are putting their attention on? And I think it's this attention that sometimes it, is tied in with the listening, but it's also you mentioned before about tension in your body. It's just like, if you're trying to listen, you're tensed up because you're trying so hard to listen, whereas actually if you relax and just allow the words to come over you, you will pick up what you need for you from that interaction. So
Right.
whilst listening is really simple, I think we've grown up to listen in certain ways, and almost like that so we've forgotten that natural way of listening, just like we've forgotten that natural way of feeling ease. And if we don't notice when we're, hunched up, then
Yeah.
we're not going to find that place of ease for ourselves.
Well, for me, listening is like it's like a journey of discovery. One of the first things I think I started to listen to, that I remember made a huge change in my life, was my internal dialogue. And uh, it can really be anything. Uh, and I'm going to have to think a minute, because I pretty much have eliminated it over time, because I realized how anxiety producing it was,
Yeah.
how energy wasting it was, how non-productive in the things I really wanted to do it
Yeah.
made me. And so some of the old dialogue was, you don't have enough time, you've got to get this done, you have to hurry, hurry, hurry. um, So you can just, if I just even think about that, it goes right back there, and my throat gets tight, and the whole thing. I'm like, well, I guess it's, I guess it's there, like the path, right? That path is there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But once I became clear about what was on that path, I decided, excuse me, morning coffee. I decided not to take that path anymore.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is one of the things about healing. I mean, like for you, you started this course and you decided to go further on that path.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so this is, I know a lot of people too, when they come to having to make a decision about something, this or that, there we go, this or that, and then the brain kicks into high gear, trying to do its logic function thing, which is awesome for certain things, but not perfect for everything. And so to that's one of the things I like about doing the ease is I can occupy that part of my brain that wants to know and decide and do and judge and evaluate and discern. So okay, just tell me, am I getting tense? Am I getting more easy?
Yeah.
I need you to watch that. That's the most important thing. I give it that job. It's busy, and it's giving me information I need. You know, it's not just make work. It's not like when you just tell a kid to cut this paper into squares for no reason. Um, I know, because that brain knows when you tried that one. When it's like,
Yes.
no, that's a junk job. I'm not doing that. But this is an important job, and when that happens, then I have time. I can feel in my gut, which is a different kind of listening.
Yeah.
Is this something that settles well, or is this something that agitates that energy in your primary kind of instinctual place?
Yeah.
I can feel my heart. Is this something that's going to create a new friendship, a time to spend with people that I care about? This is an opening kind of thing, or is this, oh, I gotta spend time with these people. I wish I liked them. I used to like them. Then when I do that, then the brain wants to kick in. Well, why don't you still let you know? And
Yeah.
just do me the easy and the not easy, and I will say, oh, how interesting that I didn't even realize I have changed and they have changed and we no longer fit together. And
Yeah.
then I can listen to the sadness, which is, you know, like for me,
Yeah.
it's like the sadness of fall. Oh, and speaking of listening, sometimes I go out in my garden, I can hear the leaves falling.
Yeah.
And we have walnut trees with green walnuts. So then
Oh,
sometimes
wow.
I can hear the walnuts falling.
They're a bit louder than the leaves falling, I imagine.
They are, and the pears at the top of the tree are ripe. And when they hit the ground, it's a no, it's a deeper, and
Yeah.
it's a really interesting sound. And but anyway, I digress because your talk, you're mentioning going on a walk and not taking your phone, not taking music
Mhm.
and earbuds, and what do you hear? What does your neighborhood sound like? What does your neighborhood sound like on a morning? What does your neighborhood sound like on an afternoon? What does it sound like on an evening or in? And the thing is, before all of this sound, you know, that soundtrack for your life. Do you remember when they were making that really big? What is the soundtrack for your
Oh,
life? You know,
what
the
is it?
songs you listen to in the theater.
Yeah.
And I sort of think that there is an attempt. Oh, see, this is the beauty of talking to someone. Bing, like your stair steps. I was going to say, like, that there was an attempt to keep people from listening to the world around them, because this is how you know if something is off in your neighborhood, if the morning sounds are these,
Yeah.
and suddenly there's a lot of traffic,
Yeah.
that's a piece of information that something's happening that's not normal. But what I thought just now is that all of this constant input and sound is because people don't know how to tell this part. It quiets this part of the brain. It occupies this part of the brain. It sings the lyrics to the song. Da, 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 you know, they don't know how to talk to that part of their brain, listen to that part of their brain, and give it an important job. They're giving it a pacifier of noise.
Yeah.
And
Just like, another analogy is some of us, comfort eat. When we're not feeling great, or we're just trying to squash emotions, and for me, that's when we're constantly listening to things, we're constantly consuming information. I know I'll have a friend that will laugh at this bit of me sharing, but we consume information. We're constantly reading, we're constantly watching something, we're constantly listening to podcasts or whatever, and that walk without earbuds allows us to listen to ourselves at that moment in time. It's not just about the outside area, it's actually allowing that bit of the brain to connect back with us as well. So for me, listening is on many levels, just like ease is on many levels. And the reason it's listening courageously, it's because just like that comfort food, we often choose not to listen because we don't really want to hear what is there. So some people don't go to the doctor because they don't want to hear what is there, because they have a feeling, a sense that there's something really not quite right. So they put it off. Whereas actually, if you go to the doctor early on, there may be a different pathway you can take.
a simple shift of direction.
Yeah.
Whether it's a shift in diet, a shift in sleep, shift in how much water you drink in the day.
Absolutely.
The other thing I just love, people say to me, well, do you listen to this or listen to that? And one time I was getting ready to drive from New York City, when I lived there, out to visit my family in Kansas. And I packed up my car and I had my dog. My car did not have a radio because I had just bought this car and it was an add-on and it cost more money. It's like, and I had, at the time, this when everyone had boom boxes, right? Cassette players. Not even CD players, but cassette players. And I had put together my whole array of cassettes that I wanted to listen to, and I'm on the road and over the bridge and into New Jersey, and my CD player is not on the seat beside me. It's not my CD player; it was my cassette player.
Yeah, your cassette player.
And I'm like, I'm not going back. I'm just not going back. Going forward. And then I'm like, yeah, but it's 1,500 miles. But I have my dog.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk, but he listened really well.
Yeah.
And I sang, and then after a while, I got into the sound of the tires on the pavement, and I got into the vista in front, and ever since then, like, I don't put on music to work. People say, turn on the music that gets you to work really fast, and da 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 da. And I'm like, do not play that. Then my uncle had taught music, and he said he can't listen to background music. Music has a purpose,
Okay. Yeah.
a meaning, a communication. And so, like, when he's in the grocery store and they're playing music, which I don't even know if they do that anymore. Isn't that funny? I try not to shop too. he's like, it's just like overload for me, and that was another, oh, wow, interesting. And so then I choose not to listen to anything in the car most of the time. And then that's like being comfortable in your own silence.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I know we could talk forever. I do know that.
We could. And I always love talking with you, Laura.
And we could listen forever. These are the ways to get in touch with Tracey-Jane, through her LinkedIn or through her website. And we've been talking, and we've been talking about ease, and how having in your body a sense of ease allows you to actually hear better.
Yeah.
When you're talking to somebody, or when you're listening to yourself. And Tracey-Jane has some ways to start your own listening path, and we thought it would be really fun to do a workshop. Yes.
So we are.
Yes. And so we decided we would. And so we'll get a link for you to sign up for the waiting list, and will be in the comments on all of these videos, so that you can find it easily and just get on there. We're listening. I was gonna say we're building it, blah 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 blah. No, we're listening to the form that the workshop wants to take. And we got a little ways down the path, but not all the way. But we decided we would share listening with you guys, because you can all start listening now.
Absolutely.
And then if you come to the workshop, you can have your experiences from now until the workshop starts to share.
Yeah.
To share with us. And we're thinking we'll do 2, so that you can get some more techniques and ideas and stuff to explore, and then come back and share, because just like talking here, Tracey-Jane got a few ideas, I got a few ideas. The exchange and sharing of our personal journeys with other people inspires their journey.
Absolutely.
And especially with listening, maybe I had some things that I was hearing, the sounds that were coming in, but I was not listening to the message.
Yeah.
But then when I talk to Tracey-Jane, and she says, this is what I heard when you were talking about, like I had some clients I outgrew. And she said, well, this is what I heard. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Now that she slowed me down, I realized I had skipped over that, because it was going to cause a change in something that I wasn't sure I was ready to make. But here's the deal, it's your choice. Even if you hear something, you get a message like, start exercising today. Well, this does not mean that you got to run out and buy a gym membership and go 5 days a week and sweat for an hour. To get some exercise could be the walk that you go on, your listening walk. That could be the beginning of your exercise. How you do what you do when you hear and get the information from listening, that's your choice.
Absolutely. And that's the nub of listening for me. It's allowing yourself to hear on many different levels. I mean, we, like I say, we could talk for hours, but it's learning to have that faith in yourself. It's learning to listen to yourself and act on what you hear, just like you did, Laura. All I did was listened to you and shared what I heard, and that allowed you to make your own decisions about how to move forward with your business, with your clients. And it took courage. It took courage to do what you did, which is where the courage bit comes in. But you knew from an ease point of view from your own practices that you needed to do something, but there was just this disconnect with listening to
What?
yourself.
Well, with what? And the brain is like, well, no, this will cost this much, and this will do that, and this is for this, and this is for
Exactly.
that, and and the brain jumps in and starts doing its analysis.
Yeah.
I hear it. Ugh. With when what I need it to do is to tell me, if I take this path, does my body get easier? Does my breath get freer?
Yeah.
Or does it get tighter? If I take this path, what happens? And
Yeah.
then I have information I can work with.
Yeah.
And still in all, it doesn't mean I have to do it yesterday.
Yeah.
The other thing about listening is sometimes, and it takes courage too, to say something out loud to someone
Absolutely.
who is really listening to you, not someone who is busy, not really paying attention. You know, somebody's like doing a lot, maybe in their kitchen doing this, and they're kind of chatting, but they're not really listening. And I say, like I wrote this chapter in a book, and they go, that's nice. Well, then I don't have to own anything about
Yeah.
that. I don't have to own that I wrote it. I don't have to own that I told it to them, because I slipped it in there when they weren't really listening.
Yeah.
And so then the courage, partly but then I hear that. Then I hear what I did. And I said, oh, you didn't allow space for sharing and hearing.
Yeah.
You picked it's also like it's like when if you go out to dinner with people and you pick a really noisy sports bar with televisions on all over the place. You
Yeah.
can't talk.
Yeah.
What? Yes, you're sharing a meal together, but
Yeah.
you're not sharing the meal and the conversation.
Yeah.
So we will probably do this in October, maybe the end of
Yeah.
October, early November. We're working on some dates, and we are happy to invite you to listen with courage, to listen courageously with ease. And if you know that you're interested and you want to put in the comments workshop, even though you probably might be watching recording, we will check back and we will answer comments, and we will connect with people so that you can get the information too. So, Tracey-Jane, thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura.
It was just always, as always, a pleasure and a delight to spend a little time listening and sharing.
Yeah. And it's always insightful, Laura. Whenever we talk and share in any way, I think it's being open, having that openness to listen to each other, and the threads that then picks up, which is why it becomes this spider's web of information that we're listening to, that we're connecting. And if we allow ourselves to be in that place of ease, we'll just go, oh, that adds on to that little bit there. Oh, that adds on to that little bit there. Oh, this is opening a new path. And it just allows us to keep moving forward, to keep rolling, and keep being true to ourselves.
Well, and deepening our practice, listening with a more fine-tuned understanding. And that's always fun, right? For me, it's fun for me. So
absolutely.
Thank
you
you
so much, Laura. And I look forward to working with you on the workshop, and for all the amazing people that I know are going to be joining us.
Me too. See you soon.
Bye.